Welcome to the Through These Gates podcast, the most rational Nebraska football show on the fucking internet. I'm your host, as always, Caleb Salvatore. You can follow me at Caleb Isn't Funny on Twitter and Instagram, Caleb Salvatore Comedy on TikTok. My main show, that's based on outlawstreamers.com. They're doing some awesome things over there. You should check them out either way. And, of course, subscribe to my personal YouTube channel here, Caleb Salvatore. And like and subscribe to this channel. Why not? You're already here. Just do it. Shut up and do it, idiot. Anyway, it's Friday morning, the eve of the Minnesota game, the historic broken chair trophy game between Nebraska and Minnesota that was started by Faux Pelini, a fake Twitter account. One of the best Twitter accounts not named the 3-year Letterman, by the way. If you haven't listened to it, or if you haven't read it, you should check it out. Of course, who am I kidding? You've all seen it. But boy, am I glad we waited till today to do it and not like yesterday, because the whole episode just would have been a waste. We had all the message board brigade, as I call them, was out in full force, going off about, the announcement's coming today. The announcement, and no announcement came, as usual. When are you guys going to get it? Stop paying attention to these idiots on message boards. They don't know anything. You want to know how I know? Because anyone that is important enough to have direct ties to the athletic director, to the board of regents, to anyone involved in the decision-making process about hiring a head coach, anyone that is important enough to have those type of connections is not going to waste their time on message boards or Reddit. Okay, that's not happening. I know it's fun. Stop believing the message board brigade. Keep off the message boards. You are not that guy that's posting about how he has all these ties to the university, or his buddy plays golf with Trev Alberts, his brother. That guy works at a gas station, and nothing against people who work at gas stations, but they don't have inside connections to the football program. Because you know what? If I did have inside connections to the football program, like if I worked for the university, like high up in the athletic department or whatever, and I had friends that I knew wasted time on message boards like that, or Reddit or wherever, I would absolutely feed them false information. Be like, listen, you can't tell anyone this, but I hear we're bringing Art Briles in for an interview. Just screw with them, right? Getting my coffee in for the morning. Yeah, just mess with them. I would just feed them false information and just let them just roll with that crap and freak everybody out. I think it'd be hilarious. I'm sure that's happened. So stop believing the message board brigade. I don't know who the coach is going to be. I don't. If it's someone like Mickey Joseph, first off, who I still probably think, I don't know, man. If it's someone like Mickey Joseph, or if it's someone like Matt Rule, or Chris Peterson, or Urban Meyer, if it's someone like that, you'll hear by the end of November. But if it's not, they're going to let that team finish the season. You know what I mean? They'll let that team finish out. You'll probably hear about it before bowl season starts, but if it's like a Lane Kiffin or a Mark Stoops or somebody like that. I think it's down. I think there's 5. I truly do. And I don't have any, I'm not going to claim to have any connections or anything like that. I do think it's down to 5 candidates. I think it's down truly. And I'm not crazy about all of them. I think it's down to Mickey Joseph. I think it's down to Matt Rule, to Dave Aranda, to Lane Kiffin, and then I think a mystery coach, and I don't know who it is. Could be like a wild card. It could be like a Chris Peterson. Could be Urban Meyer. Don't count it out. It's been awful quiet on that front. Could be like a Luke Fickell. So I just I don't know. I'm not going to get too hyped up about anybody until I hear it come from the athletic director. Because they were so sure that it was Matt Campbell a couple months ago, and thank God they were wrong about that. I'm not crazy about Aranda. I'm not honestly, Matt Rule, I would rather have I would be more excited if they said, "Hey, we're just going to roll with Mickey," than if they hired Matt Rule. I really would. Honestly, of those 3, of Aranda, Rule, and Lane Kiffin is probably the only one who I would be more excited about him than Mickey Joseph. It just, Rule and Aranda just don't jump out to me, man. Matt Rule has had everywhere he's gone, he's had a worse record than the coaches before him. And then, I mean, there was the debacle in the NFL, but we're not going to hold the NFL over people's heads. Nick Saban failed in the NFL. Yet not everyone's an NFL coach. They try to bring the college mentality to the NFL, and they forget they're dealing with millionaires and not kids. So, I mean, I'm not going to hold the NFL over anybody's head. I mean, Urban Meyer failed in the NFL. It's not for everybody. So, it could be down to those guys. I don't want to get too much into the whole coaching gossip drama thing because we don't know. And all we can do is sit here and speculate. And I know people love speculation because it's cool and it's interesting. But I'm not going to believe it until I hear it come from Trev. So miss me with the message board brigade. Stay off the boards. It's a waste of time. Let's get into the Minnesota preview and prediction. This is an interesting because we're like, let me check the line. Last I checked, it was like 14. It was 14 or 16-point dogs. We are 15-point dogs to Minnesota at home. Now, a lot of that's probably contingent on Casey Thompson playing, and they've been pretty hush-hush about that. Let me know in the comments if you've heard anything off the message boards, like official news or comments from coaches about Casey. Because I tried to look before I did this, and I couldn't find anything. So 15 points, I mean, if you're a gambler, and I'm not an advisor on that, but if you're a gambler and Casey does play, 15-point line would be a solid bet, man. Nebraska at plus 15, I would take that. But if he doesn't, yeah, I mean, we're in trouble. If he doesn't, we go over the keys of the game every week. The key to the game is Casey Thompson suiting up. That's it. It shows again, we talked about it last week, how little depth this team has. Casey's not a phenomenal quarterback. He hasn't been a world beater this year. Granted, a lot of that's because of his horrible offensive line play. But he hasn't been a world beater. The fact that losing an average quarterback, a quarterback who's, I'm not going to say an average quarterback, a quarterback who's playing at an average level, the fact that losing him automatically disqualifies your team from the game. They're just out when they lose their average quarterback. It shows how little depth you have. If Casey doesn't start, I sincerely hope they roll the dice on Smothers. It was abundantly clear that Smothers has, and look, maybe Chubba will figure it out later on, but it was abundantly clear last week in the limited action we saw that Smothers has more of a grasp on this offense than Chubba. Chubba did not look natural in the pocket, ever. He never did. And I know a lot of it's hard when you're running for your life every time, but he had happy feet the second he snapped the ball. He was making wild throws like he was Johnny Football out there, and it just didn't look good. So if Thompson's not playing, I will sincerely hope that Logan Smothers gets the nod. I hope Mickey, I mean, look, man, you want to be head coach, you got to tell your offensive coordinator, look, this is not working. We got to roll with the guy. At least we know what we got with him. Because, I mean, even if you know what you got with Chubba, it's not much. The other key to the game, I think, on defense is that front seven. Are they going to be able to stop Mo Ibrahim? Mo Ibrahim's a legit back, man. I mean, him and Anthony Grant going up against each other is going to be great. I got a feeling that he could run all over us if you saw what Georgia Southern's back did. So it'll be, those are the two biggest keys of the game. Is at least, I mean, I don't think we're going to shut him down. I don't think that they're going to stop him cold in his tracks. He's going to average 2.5 yards a carry. I don't think it's going to be anything like that. But I do think they need to contain him because you saw what Illinois did. They ran Bielema ball on us, man. If you can just control the line of scrimmage on the ground and just run it down their throats and they can't stop you, there's no way they can beat you. It's the most demoralizing thing for a defense is when they know what's coming and they just can't stop it. So that front seven is going to be critical. Colton Feast, we're going to need a game from you. Ty Robinson, we're going to need a game from you. Devin Drew, all those guys, man. The linebackers, Luke Reimer, you're going to have to step up, man. It's going to be wild. I don't know. Those are my two biggest keys of the game. Prediction, I would probably say... gun to my head, I'd say 27-14 Minnesota. I think they're going to try to shorten the game and control the ground. And I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring affair. That's just if I had to make a prediction. So 27-14 Minnesota. Nebraska would cover in that prediction, though. They would cover. I think Nebraska. It depends who plays quarterback, what the strategy is going to be. So if Chuba comes out, I'm worried they are going to try to throw it 30 times, and I don't think that's going to work. If Smothers comes out, it may be more of a balanced approach, or maybe even a run-heavy option type approach, which I would be all here. I'd be here for. I'm all for it. Let's do it. Also, shout out Mickey got another recruit, a running back from Louisiana. He's got it. Listen, interim coaches don't land recruits if they're not going to be here next year to some degree. There's got to be some kind of wink, wink, nod, nod. He's going to be here next year. Especially big-time recruits like Malachi Coleman that cite Mickey Joseph, the interim coach, as the whole reason they committed. So, just something to keep your eye on. Anyway, that's been the Through These Gates podcast. I am your host, Caleb Salvatore. Follow the socials. Caleb Isn't Funny on Twitter and Instagram. Caleb Salvatore Comedy on TikTok. And make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. Turn your notifications on. Drop a little comment. Let me know your predictions for the game. We love hearing them. I read them all, even the negative ones. I think they're funny. I think it's funny that people have nothing better to do, so they like type out shit talking to people on YouTube. I've never read YouTube comments until I started doing the thing. I was working for a foundation a couple years ago, making videos, and then I started reading them everywhere, and it's just funny, bro. Like the anger of these people that clearly have nothing else to do with their time, and they go and they harass everybody. Like, Joe Rogan ain't reading those comments, man. Like, what are you doing? But I think it's great. So subscribe to my personal YouTube too. I post clips of That's Based, and then you can go to outlawstreamers.com. It's also available on Rumble, Spotify, Spreaker, and iHeartRadio. It's the second week in a row I've sang that little jingle there. You can follow That's Based everywhere. All of those places I just listed. Anyway, thank you so much. This has been the Through These Gates podcast. Peace out. God help us all.